Hey everyone, Dan Saavedra here from MergeYourData, and we are on day 27 of 90 of the YouTube sprint on signal analytics. And today we're going to be talking about something that has a great impact on your sales team and on the revenue that you can achieve. And people often overlook this because they make assumptions, and we're going to prove these assumptions wrong with one example here. Something we see consistently across clients. It's how you increase win rates by being faster, but not too fast. So if you have been through these previous videos, I usually go about who I am right here, but I wanted to throw in also some of the results that we're getting at this stage because it brings it back home a little bit more. So I'm Dan Saavedra. I run MergeYourData. We're a signal analytics firm, meaning we find the data points that indicate whether or not someone's going to become a customer or not. And then you can guide everything you do around marketing, sales, and RevOps with those insights. And I've been working in data for 12 years. And what we do as a company here, you can see the results here. This is a real client screenshot. We're winning more with the same or less opportunities. And so on the left-hand side here, you can see when we deployed signal analytics. So this was day one. You work together beforehand, you deploy it. You can see this is the number of won deals increasing in the quarter after. And then the quarter after that, it doubles, and then it keeps growing after that. But at the same time, from the same exact instance, you can see that when we deployed signal analytics here, they didn't have more opportunities in the pipeline. So something significant changed there, where they were able to close more deals, waste less time. Everything got more efficient. They made more money, didn't have to spend more money. And so you see here, these are the number of opportunities. It actually went down before we engaged. And then when we deployed signal analytics from day one, they still had the same number of opportunities, increasing slowly here in more of a linear fashion. But you can see that the close one deals just rocketed. And so this is the results that we get for people. This is what we do. We help you win more without having to spend a bunch more. So who's this for? This is for sales leaders. This is for RevOps team. Basically, the data that we're going to look at here is going to be something that you can take back and look at with your team. If you're a sales leader, you're going to want to know how you're performing in terms of the days to close here, the number of days it takes to close an actual deal, and see the performance around different buckets. And then RevOps is someone who can surface this type of insight if someone isn't asking for it. Let's say they're in another position in leadership, or you've been having trouble getting through. With RevOps, the RevOps team can take this, build this report, show it to people, and really get some eyeballs on it and get some discussion around it and start changing things for good inside the company. And so why you would care about it? One, it's not about being as fast as possible. Most people think it is about calling, texting, slamming people with communications as soon as you get the chance. And while speed does matter, being too fast is actually a deterrent. So you can burn leads and opportunities early. It's still a relationship building process. And this is coming from the B2B perspective, don't forget. And so with the B2B type sales environment, a lot of times you're dealing with higher ticket items. And so it takes time to build that trust. And so you want to make sure that you're understanding how long it takes to build that trust, how good your team is doing at digging into the details, the pain points that people are experiencing, so you can modify the customer journey around that. And so you're not trying to force people through a path too soon when they're not ready. So that's number one. Number two, you can close more with the same amount of ops. I just showed you on this previous slide what happens when we work with signal analytics. This is one of the analysis that helps you close more with the same amount of opportunities. You just see better conversion rates with people who have deals of a certain length of time. And then third, you get more accurate projections. If you can know how long a deal is going to go through the cycle, or you can estimate how long it's going to take based off of meetings that you're scheduling and how fast you're pushing people through, then you'll be able to accurately project your revenue, your close won results for quarter after quarter after quarter. So obviously that's relevant. And so we're going to get real data here. Let's take a look at it. I have the tab open. Before we go into the tab, signal analytics led us to this. Just want to reiterate that. This is part of the entire process that we do. It's one of the signals that we look at. one of the data points that we look at that often turns into a signal, I should say. And then like previous videos, the time and position data points are metrics we can slice and dice and see success with. And so this was specifically around the lead score videos that I'm talking about here, where we went into specific examples, and lead scores have these categories of data points that you can score. And so time and position, amount of time someone stays in a stage, amount of time it takes for a deal to be created to close. These are data points that can be used in lead scores, so you can still use it for other purposes, but also it's something that we look at individually here to see what our success rates look like. So I'm going to go over to that tab here, and this is real data, keep in mind. So how we bucket this, we create a calculation in HubSpot. Anyone can do this. This isn't something that's like proprietary by any means, but we bucket it into different groups. It's not just a uniform 50 days, 100 days, 150 days. We put it front heavy here. So we have 0 to 7 days, 7 to 4, or 8 to 14, 15 to 30, 31 to 60, 61 to 90, and then we break it up by 60 days after that. And here you can see the orange is people who have not won, like the deals have not closed and won, so they were lost deals. And then the blue is the true, so that means that they won the deal. And what we can see here is that there's a large decay after the 60 to 90 day, or I'm sorry, after the 60 day benchmark. You can see here, we're only winning 4% of deals after 60 days. And so there's a few things that can go into that. Basically, people could be bad about closing out deals. That's one thing. We know that's not the case here because we, configured everything for them. So things are automated, so they automatically close if there's no activity on it after a certain amount of time. And so you can see here, after a certain period of time, these deals are just not worth the effort at all. You should automate this. You should downsell them. You should put them back into the marketing sequences, trying to get them engaged again. You should close the opportunity out, and then you should put them back into marketing audiences. This is exactly what we talked about in the beginning of the series, where you have closed lost deals, and then you can look for signals to reopen them later. And so that's what these people would be doing. They'd be going back into marketing life cycles, and you're going to be targeting them when they show a signal of interest again. But then we can also see on the front end of this, we have a 29% win rate for deals here, less than 7 days of a deal cycle. So this is pretty interesting because if we look at the next one, we have a 61% win rate, less volume, but a 61% win rate for 8 to 14 days. And so what this is telling me, and what we talked about with the team, because this is a long-term time frame here that we're looking at, is that they might be coming in a little bit too hot. They might not be focused enough on building the relationship and on scheduling the next meeting so that we can get into this sweet spot of 8 to 14 days. Instead, they might be pushing too hard on the initial call. Maybe marketing had a problem before where they're bringing in leads and sales were opening opportunities and they weren't really qualified. We know that's not the case either because we put in guardrails for that as well several years ago. And so you can see here that because of those factors, we're just rushing too much on the sales call and the sales process. Maybe we have too much pressure to make certain numbers at the end of the month. Maybe there's a bunch of other things going on. We just look at the data and tell you where the problems are, right? And so what we want to do here is focus on extending that relationship, booking a second call, giving them time to interact with the team and make the decision, maybe slowing things down a little bit. And so we don't want to go as fast as possible here. Now, obviously what we'll have to do is experiment with this. And so we want to take a subset of people who maybe are rushing through, maybe want to take one salesperson and change the process of their calls and see what the effect is on that. So we could break this down further by other signal data. We can look at for a specific closer. We can look at specific cohorts of people that are involved in these deals and kind of see what's going on here and see if maybe in the future when we change things, if it shifts and we're still seeing that high success rate in the 8 to 14 day window. So that's the type of things we look at here. This is how you would take your close rate by days. You'd put them in buckets, front loaded, 7-day periods, 30-day periods, 60-day periods, and then see what your close rate is. And then basically filter all your deals and tell your people not to care about this stuff that's way back. way long in the sales cycle. And you can see the decay here too. If let's say we end up getting this balanced out, right? And we have more people going into the 8 to 14 day stage or sales cycle and converting. And then we have the 15 to 30, it goes down to 45%, and then it goes down to 32%. These are still pretty good opportunities here. And so to me, this isn't a red flag of anything. The big red flag is here rushing too much, and then also not getting people to get a no earlier in the process. So these are just automatically closed within this time frame. And then these deals are open for whatever reason. They've been open for way too long. So even though we have automations, people might be manually overriding them or reopening them or something like that. So this is the type of data that you need to look at. I'm sure you'll see here where your sweet spot falls if you have enough volume. Take a look, see what you can discover, go from there. And so that's pretty much it for this video. It's a shorter one than what we've been doing, so hopefully that's good. Hopefully you got a good takeaway from this. Take one action, please. Like, comment, share in company chat. We've been seeing people taking these actions, so I appreciate you guys doing that. And just don't forget, we have a podcast portion of this as well, so if it's easier for you to listen and share just audio clips with people so you don't have to sit down and watch the video, then we appreciate that as well. I want to throw in another action again. If you feel that there's a lot of value here in Signal Analytics, book a call with our team. This is stuff we do all the time. These are the type of opportunities we tackle for you. And we've done the case studies before on other videos. Like, we have great results that we can show you. We have evidence of it. We're happy to answer questions, see if our services will be able to actually fit your business as well, because it's not always a good fit, right? Just because we've had these results with other clients doesn't necessarily mean that we'll get the same results if you're a bad fit for the type of services we offer and the type of capabilities that we have, right? So that's the last action. Next videos, I did not update this slide. We are not doing lead scores again. We are past that. So we'll jump into some other topics here that we've been seeing on calls with prospects, on calls with clients, some top priority issues, and some changes that we make in order to get some really big results. I'm Dan Saavedra from MergeYourData. Appreciate you watching.